All right, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and
this is Steve
and
Drew.
Whoa, Drew. Who's Drew?
Drew.
Like Boneyard?
Yep,
Drew?
Boneyard.
Oh,
I love it. Trev used to hammer me with that, so it's good someone else is getting the pressure. Just Drew.
Yep.
Just Drew? Come on, man.
I got a couple other names: Dickhead, Shithead.
Been through it before, huh?
Yep.
He's been there, done that.
Nice. Just calling me my name.
That's right. Well, so we're actually in, what do we call this? Is this like the Wild Edge Palace?
Yeah, have you named the place yet?
This is like the man cave. It's the office, but really it's a man cave. The office is only like 10 square feet.
All right.
But the rest is the man cave.
All right.
So,
Everything that's not allowed in the house is here.
so it's kind of like a mullet. The business is up front and the party's in the back.
That's right. Business is like this little corner and party's over there.
I like it.
Better than
I'm
that,
digging
dude.
it.
Well,
Man cave, man shop, downstairs business.
well, why don't we jump right into it then? Let's turn this key, man. Let's get this drive underway. Why don't you tell everyone who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Andrew Walter, Drew, Boneyard, whatever you want to call me. Owner, president of Wild Edge Incorporated. We are a one-stop shop for all your saddle hunting needs. Started with the step ladder by Jim Stepp, invented back in the 90s. And I grew up hunting with Jim since I was 12, 13 years old. I've been using the steps since then. And then after the Army, after I had a career in some wildlife management, I wanted to stay more at home. So Jim kind of gave me the motivation to start up and sell the stepladder again with the help of the internet. And that was back in 2015. We started selling in 2016, and then it's been a whirlwind since then. And now we're here today with, our goal. My goal years ago was to be the one-stop shop for saddle hunting, and we finally reached that this past year. And just a veteran-owned company, products made in America. Our Kong products, the saddle and carabiners and ascenders, are made in Italy. Everything else, all our metal products made in Texas, and our bags and every other fabric made in New Jersey. So we've been around. I was saddle hunting before it was cool, years ago. So we have the knowledge, and kind of just we're the front runners of the saddle hunting industry. And now here we are today, and sitting with these dudes, and we're going to talk some saddle hunting.
So what kind of makes you the one-stop shop, man? What do you offer that makes you the one-stop shop?
We have everything. We have basically, if you want to start saddle hunting, or if you're a tree stand hunter, we have everything you'll need besides tree stands. Everything from your climbing system, the step ladder, to your platforms, the perch, the battlement, to your step ladder. So your climbing system, your platforms, your ropes. We have all different variations of ropes, from your affordable, big, bulky and expensive ropes, all the way to your 8mm Sterling Oplex ropes with the custom sewn 6-inch eyes on them, with the Kiss line kit or the Wild Edge line kit with the Kong Oval 1 carabiner with the duck on it, duck ascender, all the way to our newest saddle, which is the Berserker. So basically everything you need to start getting saddle hunting, we have here.
So what would somebody do if they started saddle hunting? Like where would they start? Like what would be the beginning steps? Because obviously it's a new thing, and a lot of people are just starting to get into it. So like, what would you do? Where would you point them, and what direction would they go?
My biggest thing is before, when saddle hunting was new, before it was popular, and before there was, 20 companies on the market, it was Saddle Hunter Forum. You go there and you research, you talk to people, and it was all DIY stuff, because there weren't any saddle hunting companies on the market offering saddle hunting equipment. So you'd go there and it'd all be, DIY stuff. You buy this rope here and that rope there. You buy this climbing arborist saddle here and this, piece of equipment here, and you DIY your saddle. Everything's DIY. There were still climbing systems, but, not as much as there are today. So now it turned into, I said this 2 years ago, I said to a lot of people, I said, give it 2 years. There's going to be more saddle hunting companies on the market than there are tree stand companies. And, people kind of looked at me like I was fucking stupid and crazy. Well, look at today. Every week there's a new saddle hunting company because that's what's exploding. So what the fuck was your question?
Where do you start?
Where do you start?
So I would what kind of smart ass and just set at the base of a tree, but that's just me.
So the way you start. How about this? I'll tell you how I started. So I started getting bored with hunting a lot of private land properties that I had. I got bored with hunting those small pieces of woods. So in New England, it's Connecticut, especially, 50 acres, 100 acres. That's like a big piece. Okay. Well, try to track a deer in the snow or try to hunt a mature deer in 50, 100 acres. Good luck. He's off that in 2 seconds. So I got bored and I started exploring spots along the river. There's a lot in Connecticut, especially my area. The Connecticut River is right in my backyard. There's a lot of bow hunting only spots, and they're peninsulas, islands, big pieces of state land property that the best way to get to are by water access. So I started accessing by water, and I'm stumbling in there with my bow and a kayak and just walking in going, what the fuck? Like, you can't see with the frag. You can't see, it's 3 feet above your head. And then the briars and shit, it's like deer tunnels. I'm like, holy fuck. Can't bring a tree stand in here. What the fuck? Like, I'm just racking my brain. I'm like, okay. Heard about saddle hunting from my buddy who had an Anderson tree sling, which was popular like 20 years ago. Borrowed that from him and then transitioned into buying an arbor saddle and transitioning it with my old army sleeping pad, cut it out and made a seat with it. And literally the second
never stops being useful.
Oh, they're great. I had like 4 of them. So I'll cut this one up, made a seat out of it. My second time in ever sitting in a saddle, killed a nice 8-point. Water access with my kayak along the river. I was like, this is fucking great. About sunk the kayak on the way out because it was so heavy. I couldn't drag the deer out, so I had to debone it, pack it out. But that's what kind of got me started. So now it's like the whole evolution of now. That was back when there was like little information and you really had to research hard or know somebody that had an old saddle. Now it turned into there's so much information out there, YouTube, Facebook, all the different Facebook pages, all the different YouTube channels, all the different forums. Like, forums kind of drifted away, but there's so much information, your mind will get fucked. Like, you will get so confused. So we have so many emails like, guys, like, what's a canator, badator? Like, well, I know you mean nader swader. So we're trying to explain to them. It's like, there's so much information out there, but right now is the best time to transition into a saddle because there's so much information, but really step back and look at simplifying it and figure out what works for you. So that was always my biggest system is make shit simple. So military term, Steve would know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So that was always my goal is everything I do and every way I do shit, I want it so simple and brainless. So when I'm in the dark, going to the tree and I'm starting my climb, everything is exactly where it was every other time. And every system is the same, no matter how weird and how fucked up the tree is and how different the situation is, dark, light, whatever it is, tree that's crooked going like this, or, half dead ass tree along the river that I'm only going 12 feet up, or this tree and that tree. Everything I have is a fluid motion and everything's always the same no matter what. So, question again, how to get started? Okay. So, just do a little research, reach out to people. But the best way is now that saddle hunting is getting so much bigger, I guarantee you, no matter what state you are in, you can find a Facebook page that has some saddle hunting organization that is in your area or a club that you can go to, reach out to. And they'll have, weekend rendezvous or one day shows or whatever that everybody meets up and they test out equipment. So find somebody that has a saddle, has the system, reach out to them and go and test it out and really, mess with it. Or the other beauty is go online, spend the money, buy your equipment, probably from me. Would be the best idea, but preferably. But either way, if you buy something on the saddle hunting market, you can turn it around and sell it on the saddle hunting classifieds in an hour, 2
for the
hours.
same money.
And you could, you won't have to, maybe you might suck up $10 in shipping or something, but you can resell stuff very easily in the saddle hunting market. So, try stuff, figure out what works best for you, and roll with that system. Once you find the system that works for you, stay with it.
And especially if you get on some of those saddle hunting pages and so on and so forth, and you put out, hey, is there somebody in my local area that wants to meet up? I mean, the saddle hunting community is a really good community where you can ask those questions and people will meet up with you and have you get in a saddle. I know a lot of people are kind of holding back on getting into a saddle because they're like, well, I never been in a saddle, so what do I do? You know what I'm saying? So there is people all over that will get you in a saddle and have you wear a saddle,
Yeah. And like you saw at Harrisburg. So the first, 5 years ago at Harrisburg, I had saddles there. And guys would walk up and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that looks retarded. And then the next year, okay, I've been seeing this. The next year, and then bring it back to, so this year was canceled because of China virus. And then
China virus.
last year was epic because I shared a booth with Matt from Limb Manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
And we had his Shakar stick. We had a pole with all his products and a pole with all my products. And we had everything for sale. But I didn't have a saddle at the time. We were selling trophy line saddles, but I had my prototypes there, and either way, guys came to our booth knowing that they wanted to fuck around with saddle hunting equipment.
And we put a lot of people on that pole.
Yeah, a lot of people.
There was a lot of pole dancing in that booth.
Yep. And they came, and it was like, I want to sit in a saddle. I'm gonna sit in a saddle. They sit in it, boom. But like years before, it was like, you'd have a group of guys, and one guy would be interested. And his other 5 buddies would be like, you're fucking retarded. That's
you're gay.
Yeah,
you're a homo. And
don't be a saddle hunter. That's not cool.
And then the one guy was sitting it. He'd be like, ha. And then he'd be like, sitting it. And the other guy, no, I'm not going to do it. He'd force his buddy to sit in it. He'd sit in it. And he'd be like, this is pretty fucking cool.
It's not that bad.
Swinging around this tree like, okay, I get it now. So that's the biggest thing right now. I think Latitude Outdoors is the only saddle that's in a store right now, a local store in Michigan. But other than that, there's not a lot of saddles that you can really jump in and test out. But with our new shop right now, that's a cool part. We've had a lot of guys swing by that are local, and they swing by, they want to test out the products. So the biggest thing is they put their hands on it, they feel it, they touch it, they sit in it, they climb with the steps, they monkey around with them, and then they're sold. So anyone in the area, feel free to swing by, hit me up, and we can get you outfitted.
So why don't you go through a little bit of the saddle, some of like the different features that you have on your saddle compared to some of the other ones? Just why would somebody pick a Wild Edge saddle over any other one?
All right, so we have years and years into developing this saddle. So the biggest thing that we have right here is the adjustable comfort of the saddle. So it is an adjustable seat. So there was other saddles in the market that were called expandable seats, adjustable, whatever you want to call the seat. So this seat, you can sit in it and it will stay this size. If you want to open it, you can open the bottom or the top or both at the same time and expand the seat. So the top can almost become more of a backrest and hug the upper part of your back. The bottom can hug the lower part of your hips. And then if you want to change your comfort, you just fold it back in. So that's the biggest thing. It's a seat that will stay closed. If you want to open, you can open it. Like I said again, you can open just the bottom, just the top, or both. The big gear loops in the back. I always got frustrated with saddles as I was hunting. They always had those tiny little 1-inch molly loops, and you're reaching behind your back and you're trying to hook a carabiner into it. And it's like, you're motherfucking yourself. Like, where the fuck is that goddamn loop? Like you couldn't find it. So that's why I came out with these bigger gear loops, because brainlessly you can reach behind your back, snap a carabiner in it, or like right here, I always have a carabiner hanging from it. And that's where I will attach my bow when I'm climbing the tree. I have my bow on my waist, on the molly loops on my saddle, because I don't know how many times I've been halfway up a tree or halfway down a tree and deer start coming in. Well, if your bow's in the ground, you look like a dick. So if my bow is right there, I can just stay there with my lines and rope around the tree, grab my bow, and be ready to hunt, whether I'm going to kill a deer or not. Either way, I always want to be prepared. It scares the shit out of me to have my bow on the ground. Nevertheless, if it's in the dark or there's a lot of limbs, you're trying to pull your bow up and you're smashing it against limbs and shit, you could fuck up your sight. But either way, I always have my bow on my back. And then we have smaller molly loops here, but with 2-inch webbing so that your dump pouch can fit in the sides and not be slapping around in 1-inch webbing like it would. So they're, tight to your hip, bigger lines and loops. And then another big feature is your leg straps. Most saddles, the leg straps are they come up right in the center by your waist belt buckle. So you have 3 buckles right in your crotch banging together.
Yep.
I wanted them to the side, away. So these leg straps sit way off to the side of your hip, like in the front of your hip. So they're out of the way. You're never banging shit, because I can remember a lot of times have my bow like hanging, waiting for a deer to present an opportunity.
Clean,
and my cam,
clean.
Yeah, your cam's right in your crotch, so it's like banging against shit. Or you'd move, you'd loosen your waist belt, and there'd be just jingling shit going on. These are all Kong buckles. These saddles are made by Kong USA. Kong USA, their facility is in Rhode Island, but their factory is in Italy. So Italy is very well known for the metal fabrication. And all these buckles are made by Kong USA in Italy. This entire saddle is made by Kong USA. Kong is a recreational climbing and arborist company. They make climbing harnesses, arborist saddles, everything imaginable for rock climbing to arborist, everything you'd ever want. So reputable company. All our saddles are tested. They tested them to 3,000, whatever it was, 3,600 pounds. And stretched them from the bridge. So they put it in a machine that stretches them out to 3,600 pounds for 3-4 minutes, release it. They did it like 20 something times to multiple saddles. So they randomly select a saddle, test it. We also have bigger gear loops at the bottom. Again, for carabiners, whatever you want to hook to your saddle, but also sticking your hand behind to pull that pleat out. So again, it's not a pleat. Most saddles with a expandable seat, you'd just be walking and it would just open and stay open for the rest of the life of the saddle.
One of the most miserable things about saddle
So it'd be
hunting.
like walking on the diaper. So this will go back closed, and you have to put a little effort into actually expanding it. So you reach behind, stick your finger in there, and pull the pleat out.
Not like a regular diaper, like a shitty diaper.
Yeah.
Full load.
Exactly.
Full loaded diaper.
And then we have so we started our first prototype. We had a webbing bridge on it with an adjustable bridge, but webbing bridge, detachable on one end. But from there, I went back to the Sterling Oplux. So this is basically our KISS line that we offer. And in my mind, I would rather trust a knot and a rope than stitching on webbing. Stitching on webbing is strong, and you'll be fine. But in my eyes, why not beef it up? I'm one that I overbuild everything. So I went back to the Oplux. We have a figure 8 on one end, and then a Prusik on the other end, on the 8mm with a 6.8mm T-vac line, tied with a fisherman's knot, and then a bite on the end. And then our poor man's ascender. So if you want to adjust the saddle, you just pull the rope up and adjust your bridge.
One-handed functionality without an ascender.
One hand. That's the biggest point. And if you want to adjust, so the biggest thing about adjusting your saddle when you're sitting in it is you rotate. A lot of guys are like, they're so focused on the seat and everything for getting comfort and the bridge. Well, the biggest thing is if you have... Hold this up for a minute.
Yep.
If you're having more pressure on your hips, you're going to rotate each bridge loop down. That'll put more pressure on your legs. If you have too much pressure in your legs, you're going to rotate your bridge loop up to put more pressure on your hips. So that's pretty much the only adjustment that I'm making is my bridge loops. So we went through that, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
In our trade show.
And those are on your
Online trade
YouTube
show.
page.
It's on our YouTube page. So we'll start going through more of the saddle, where I'm going to do a weekly live event, because the virtual trade show is such a big turnout. So guys are loving it. They want me to do more videos. So we're going to start going through all the little techniques and how I climb, how I hang everything. But I mean, this saddle, and the biggest thing we offer, so the typical sizes in the saddle hunting community are size 1 and size 2. Fucking Mike. So we came out with small, medium, and large. Your medium, large, your medium's your 1, your large is your 2, and your small is smaller than a size 1. So that's a guy like me. I have a 32-inch waist. I have bigger shoulders, but my waist is fucking tiny. I have no ass. I have no legs. Guys in college, when I actually lifted weights, called me light bulb. So I literally have no ass. So if I sit in a size medium, which is a size 1, I feel like I'm getting crushed in my hips. So I drop down to a small size, smaller than a size 1, and I fit perfectly. And I do not expand the seat. I hunted all season. I might have expanded it 1 or 2 times after a long sit. Maybe just pull the top up or just pull the bottom down. Maybe the top up just for a little backrest. But honest to God, I never opened the seat, and the seat stayed closed. That's the biggest point of our saddle. It's an adjustable seat that stays closed or opens if you want.
I think it's awesome, dude. I love it.
Was that a good tangent?
Yeah, I think it was great.
I think you pretty well hammered that one down.
Yeah.
And I can agree with you, because there's nothing worse with that other company's expandable seats. As soon as you put pressure on the bridge and you set in, it just wants to open regardless.
And it stays open.
Yep. And I found myself fighting that a lot this year.
Yeah.
It is definitely an annoying thing with some of the other saddles, like especially, my thing is like, getting in and out of a place, right? And obviously you want to wear your saddle, because like with some of the other saddles, you can't walk far. If you're walking, because the whole purpose of saddle hunting, right, is so you don't have gear on your back. So you don't have a climber, or you don't have stick and stands on your back, but you have your saddle and you want to be able to wear it in. When that seat is open, then it's a pain in the ass to walk in. And 9 times out of 10, I would just put it in my backpack. Yeah. And then I'd get there and then I'd put it on. But you're defeating the whole purpose of the mobility of saddle hunting.
Yeah, and you've worn a lot of our prototypes where it was, just expandable seat, but guess what? It opens up, flaps around, and will never close. That's why we went back to this Gore-Tex spandex material that will fold back and close and stay closed, because that was a pet peeve of mine. Just like a dump pouch. I was never a dump pouch guy. Beginners, I suggest you start with a dump pouch and use a linesman rope and a tether, 2 lines. But I could not stand having a dump pouch in those 1-inch molly loops and just flapping around. And, but people don't understand that, because I'm not hunting the edge of a cornfield. Nope. I'm not walking down the middle road of a cornfield and then ducking through the corn and hunting up a tree. I'm crawling in and out of my kayak with I put my saddle on, jump in my truck, grab my bag, my bow, jump out of my truck, jump in my kayak most of the time. Even if I don't have my kayak, either way, I'm crawling through deer tunnels, crawling through shit. So if I had sticks, if I had dump pouches, if I had all this shit hanging off me, well, good luck if it's there when you get to the tree.
Right.
And that whole point of being quiet, walking in and out is out the window.
So like the whole, the whole theory of bed to dead and get close to the bed as close as you possibly fucking can. Well, you better make sure you're being fucking quiet. Yeah. Better sound like a squirrel going up the tree, not a fucking pack rat with a junk pile of metal on your back.
And I think it's something that a lot of people don't understand when saddle hunting or hunting in general, is that you don't have to be fast going up the tree. It's just being quiet and efficient.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
I mean, it's like
that's what I wanted.
Everybody, how fast can you get up the tree? How fast can you climb? How fast? Well, it's like, are you going into an area where, the deer won't be there for 4 hours and you can make as much fucking noise like a fucking combine if you want? Or are you going into an area where you have to be fucking quiet because that deer could be bedded, 40, 50 yards from you. So like opening day when I shot that deer that had the velvet hanging off that Trev did the Euro mount for me. It's like I snuck into that. The leaves are so fucking loud. I sounded like an elephant going through the woods. But like I was telling Trev, I walk like a squirrel. I knew that deer would be close. He was a 5.5-year-old deer. I knew he'd be close. He'd been on the cell cam. He was in the area. Like he did not fucking move. And he was just shedding his velvet. So I knew I had that like 1 or 2 days where he's going to be there. So I walked to that stand like a retard, like a squirrel. I walked 10 feet, shuffled my feet like a squirrel scratching around. 10 feet, shuffled my feet. It probably took me, I'd say 45 minutes to go 150 yards from my truck. Got up in that tree, got set up, quiet as possible. And within 15 minutes, I saw him.
Nice.
And then 35, 40 minutes later, I killed him. So he was right there.
He took that long to get to you?
Yeah. I saw him within 10 minutes of getting set up. And then I watched him for over a half hour, 40. I don't even know how long it was. You know, it's all on film. I got to post that video. I got to edit it. It was like he was right there. And like I watched him rub his velvet, come in, make a scrape. But it was like if I had been complacent and just noisy as fuck and not cared, there's no way I would have killed him.
Yeah, you'd have blown him
And there's
out.
a lot of situations like that where it's like, you don't know. Oh, I had a shitty hunt. I didn't see shit. Was that because you were loud and you fucked up?
Mm-hmm.
Were you careful? Like, that's where you beat yourself in the balls. It's like, was it your fault? Or were you in the wrong spot?
I always get a kick out of, well, I didn't see shit.
Yeah.
And that's, if you look at it on the flip side, you may not have seen shit, but the deer may have seen all they needed to see.
Right.
When you're like this,
it's like
when you're like this, you can't see anything, my friend.
like all those guys on social media, they're like,
Look at me, I'm in a tree.
oh, they're doing live posts. I just had this 150 come in, but I was on my phone and oh my God, what the fuck? It's like, oh my God, like I don't fucking move. Like I'm scared to take a piss in the tree. And you know, guys know I piss a lot, but no, it's
So do you think that saddle hunting plays a big role in that with being quiet and getting into
like,
those spots? What is the difference?
How many times have you guys gone coyote hunting? Tried to call in a coyote?
Or 9 count.
What's your probability?
Slim
to none. Right?
Easy estimate. I'm going to say you may encounter 1 in 20, unless that's like you do it for a living.
But how many do you see when you're calling? That's the thing. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's how I related to deer hunting. So I was so amped on coyote hunting when I was younger, and it was with a mouth call.
Mm-hmm.
And we called in and killed a ton of coyotes when I was 10, 12, 13 years old. But then e-collars came out. Coyotes got very educated, you know, so relate that to deer hunting. So how many times do you think you set that collar off and you go, fuck, that hunt sucked. We didn't see a coyote. How many times do you think you called a coyote in and he sat back and he winded you, saw you, or just didn't feel comfortable coming in?
Yep.
It's the same thing with mature bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They could be there and you did 1% of a fuck up and you failed.
It's over.
You're in their living room at that point.
Yep.
Well,
it's kind of smart.
The perfect example, the easiest way to put it, especially for people who've never quite gone that deep into hunting, is imagine you walk home, you walk into your living room, and someone else's boots are sitting next to your couch. You're going to notice it. I mean, you don't miss it.
No.
So it's the same thing. When you walk in, when the deer's there, they walk into their area, they know if something's off.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, it's like, what was it? Having a brain fart. Who's the guy that has the hunting show that the hunting public left from?
Oh, Dan Infalt.
No.
Oh.
Hunting public.
Oh.
They left him. Brain fart.
I don't know.
It'll click at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm
Bill Winky.
Oh, Bill Winky.
Winky.
Okay.
Remember he did that whole test on wearing garbage bags over his boots, all the way up to his hips and walking into an area for scent control. Well, people don't understand, and he proved this, and science obviously proves over the years that your particles of your scent in your body are always falling off of your body. Mm-hmm. So you are just leaving like this invisible trail that we can't see. That's why dogs can find dead deer. That's why dogs can find birds. And, that's why animals can track down other animals, because it's just there's particles falling off you, leaving a trail that we cannot fucking see. So that's what, I don't know what the fuck my point to that was.
Descent and just being in.
It walks in, it knows something's off.
Having some dudes.
Yeah, so it's like you're hunting an animal that is
having someone's boots in your living room.
That is living their life trying not to get killed.
Yeah.
So it's a little tiny thing. So back to the point of saddle hunting, you're compact, you're quiet. There's no metal on metal shit. I mean, that's why I say just keep it simple.
That's why I never really understood the whole like sticks and stand thing, right? So the whole sticks and stand thing with like going up, there's a lot of clanking metal, there's a lot of things that are banging together and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, maybe not you, but definitely me, like trying to hang a stand. I have enough problems trying to do that. Could you imagine doing that mobily? Like it would.
Well, it's like when we first met, you were a climber guy.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, I would walk in my fucking underwear because I was sweating so much with this giant climber on my back. And then, relate that to, we have a lot of customers that reach out to us. Hey, I'm a female. And I try to wear this climber in and it's banging against the back of my calves, beating me up. I'm struggling. So I found your system with the saddle and the steps and I'm, light years ahead.
Yep.
It definitely makes things a lot easier, especially for, being mobile hunting, even if, I use it a lot, like, especially the steps, man, I make a lot of presets with them and then get up in those presets. So those are my stands. So it's a lot. It's like having a stand, but I'm in my saddle, right? So I just go in and I set up a bunch of steps and with a ring of steps, and then that's my preset. So it's like hanging tree stands and I can go up in them. So you can do it on the permanent side also, not only, and you do that a lot also, but, not only just a mobile game. Like I have a mobile setup and then I have a permanent setup where I go in and do things differently.
Thank you, all those customers, for your returns. So I use those as my presets.
But it's nice to have presets,
and
man.
Thanks to my manufacturer for fucking up steps, because if the paint's chipped, they're in trees.
You have presets. That is definitely one thing too, is having the presets. And that's
because it's so simple. It's like, okay, all right, I have this preset, that preset, check the wind, check the pressure. All right, I want to be in this area. So I'll set hundreds of presets a year and then boom, grab my saddle, my bow, and my backpack, go. Done.
Yep.
And one rope.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking golden.
Or an after work set or whatever. You have a couple in there, you just get in there, boom, done. And you don't have to worry about it. And then you're quiet and everything. And then you have a mobile setup where you grab a bag that has 6 steps or 8 steps and you go in and you just grab it and go, and that's one of the nice things.
6 steps. So this is the advantage of the step ladder. Here's there's actually 5 in here. This is a 5-step bag. So you'd put it around your shoulder, unzip the bag a little bit, pull the ropes out, and every step is right there by your side. So this is the advantage. So this with an aider. So take this. This is 5 steps. 3 steps with an aider swader, you can get 30 feet. This is 5 steps. So I will usually not take this little amount of steps. I'll take 8 steps. So this is my run and gun bag, my mobile hunting bag. 8 steps, because even if I only use 5, I'll put another one at my waist. I always have one at my waist height, and that hangs my backpack off the step. My binoculars go in the step. My bow hanger goes on my strong side, my left side of the tree. My bow goes there. And then if I have extras, then no matter what platform variation I'm running, I either have 1 or 2 on each side, or say, oh, fuck, I have another extra step. I'll put one up high. Or as I'm climbing, I'm like, okay, I really got to get a little higher. If I'm not using an aider system, which I rarely ever use, I'll just do a half pull up. So my first step will go chest level, next step above my head, and I'll grab the above head step, put my foot against a tree, and do a little bit of a fucking half pull up, and keep my lines in line, super loose, throw it up, jump up to that step. Obviously, early season, that's a lot easier. Late season, you're constricted with thicker clothing. So late season, I transition into more steps, so I'll run with a set of 10. But I would rather carry a couple extra pounds and have the steps and not need them than need them and not have them. Yeah. So that's always my theory. I mean, it's a couple pounds. We're not Western hunters. We're not packing in for 3 days of an elk hunt where every ounce counts. If you're worried about ounces and pounds, stop eating McDonald's fucking cheeseburgers. Fucking go for a run. Start building some shit. But it's like, I'd never, like, I'm a little weight conscious, but I'm not a freak because we're in New England and we're walking, you walk a mile, that's a long fucking way. You have a lot of guys say, I hiked in, 2 miles. Well, I'd be
For
willing
us
to
on the
bet
East
that
Coast,
it's not 2 miles, but either way, East Coast, it's like this.
Yes.
So you could walk a mile
us.
in a crow's line distance, but that could be 3 miles. So it's like, but either
and
way,
I get it for
I'd
like the
rather
Midwestern
carry it.
guys where they have to walk across a giant corn plot to get to wherever they want to go or something
Right.
like that. But for us, like a mile, and we
That's
talked about
far.
this. We talked about this. A mile. So a mile at how long? Lydia was talking about it at a straight like pace. Okay, as fast as you possibly could. A mile would take you. Fuck.
I forget what
Which
she
is like
said.
35
She
or
had some
40.
analogy, yep.
Yeah, something crazy. So, but you don't like
was like
walk
30
at
or
a
40
full
minutes.
like sprint trying to go in the wood. It would take you a long ass time to get a mile.
Yeah, I had one spot up in what was it? It was outside of Hebron. And I had this one spot so it was the back end of the property, and it was like the best spot. It was like thick, nasty, clear-cut shit that kind of stopped right into old gross stuff that hadn't been touched in, a couple hundred years.
Sweet
And
transition.
It was the best transition in the world. But in order to get there, I had to go up, down. And I did a straight line distance on Onyx, and it was, or a hunt stand. And it was a mile in and a mile out. And that took me a good 45 minutes. So in the dark, that's walking fast. Logging trails, easy walking, like just hoofing it. But going in the afternoon, it's a whole different story because you're walking slow. So that takes you an extra 20 minutes. So,
But that's the nice thing about saddle hunting. You don't have to carry as much in, and it just keeps you a little bit more. I don't know. It just gives you that advantage. Like the nice thing, like for me, being on the saddle hunting and being mobile hunting is, I didn't knock off the weight. I just added more shit. So I knocked off the weight, but I added my camera gear. So it's like having all that other things, but it makes me a little bit more mobile and having the room to be able to bring camera gear with me. Like so you add your camera arm and all the other and your cameras, your backup camera, and your secondary camera, and then you're adding back on the weight. But it's just I don't know, it just makes it a lot easier.
Here's the other beauty about it is you're walking in even with a backpack full of gear, saddle on, everything's ready to go. And guess what? The deer pops up in front of you on the ground. I can still draw. Right. I'm not fighting a stand on my back.
Nope. Yep.
I mean,
that's what got me into it too, is like I would go into areas where it's like, I really don't know if I have an intention to hunt or hang in a tree, but I'm wearing my saddle. I have my climbing system, my steps, and my everything I need to climb a tree. But I might walk into an area and be like, well, this fucking blows. You're scouting as you hunt.
Yep.
I'm not just blowing through an area like a fucking madman hustling. I'm walking very slow, looking methodically, looking for sign, all kinds of shit. But if I don't find it, if I like, oh, this fucking spot blows, there's no deer, or there's so many acorns, or there's no acorns, or they're feeding over here. It's like every situation is different, but I may not set up there. And then I just walk back to my truck and go home. Or I'll be walking and be like, whoa, this spot's sick. Like there is sign here. I'm going to climb that tree right there. Boom. And I'm up the tree in, 8-10 minutes.
I think one of the things that I find that sucks too, when you get in the woods and you get into mobile hunting, and I don't know if other people are in this scenario, but I get in the woods and I start walking and I see a little bit of sign, but I'm like, there's got to be better sign over the next knoll. And then you get to the next knoll and there's nothing. And you're like, fuck, all right, I got to go a little bit further. Now you keep going and you keep going and you're like, fuck.
Yep. So
now I got to turn around, but I just put all that scent. And now that you know that the deer are coming here, I play the worst mind games with myself.
Wait, Trev, you overthink things?
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
So Lydia and so my sister and my wife, they know. So they'd be like, where are you hunting in the morning? Like, I don't know. Like, well, can you at least tell me? I'll tell you in the morning. So, or in the afternoon, where are you hunting tonight? Not sure. I'll always have a couple spots in mind, but then I'll literally get my shit together, hop in my truck. As I'm pulling out the driveway, I'll go left or right, no matter where I go. And I'll go, okay, trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut. Okay, this spot feels good. Yep. And I'll just trust my gut and go there. And then I'll text them and be like, hey, this is where I'm at.
Oh, no, me, I drive 3 hours in the wrong circle, and I'd be like, I don't think it's a good idea.
I've learned trust your gut.
Yeah.
It's the hardest
Don't
thing.
trust
I
the
think.
camera.
Especially
Cameras fucking lie.
Oh,
Do
dude,
not.
don't even get me going with that.
All right,
I spent the whole season this year with that.
I gotta piss.
All right,
Lightweight.
he's got a piss. We'll have a pee break. A Drew pee break.
And this sponsor break is brought to you by
Actually, you know what,
Wild Edge
Spencer?
Inc.
That would actually be a smart idea. Actually, while during the piss break, I'll just go over real quick, dude. If you guys haven't already, get on over to nor'eastergamecalls.com for the Ridge Runner. Our box calls are on there, and our outdoor series has now been released. So if you guys haven't already, go over to Nor'easter Game Calls and check those things out. We have now given out the Ridge Runner call last week, so congratulations to them. Also, Out on the Limb Manufacturing, Out on the Limb MFG.com for all of your saddle hunting platforms, so on and so forth, camera arms, custom tree stands, and then Wicked Twisted Bowstrings. They got their custom bowstrings over there, BCY and Bloodline, and also Broadside Camo. Broadside Camo, the photorealism camo for your aerial hunting. I don't even have a notebook, and I'm doing this.
I know, dude. I'm loving it. You're on a roll. You're killing it.
Nope, we didn't get there yet. Timber tumblers, your custom timber tumblers, timbertumblers.com. And then last but not least, Gator Outdoors, outfitting the working class, GatorOutdoors.com. Use promo code I don't even fucking know because I don't have my notebook.
I'll pull it up. Stand by.
I think it's Outdoor Drive 10, 15, something like that. So use that.
I know we got it
It'll be
saved.
good.
Yeah,
We just
it's
partnered
Outdoor
with them.
Drive 20. You were close.
Ooh,
You were only off
20%
by
on
5
that
and
one.
10.
Wow, Outdoor Drive 20. So save yourself some on that, guys. Go and check them out there.
Well, not just save yourself. Use that as entries for the upcoming hunt.
So we have a you can use all of our promo codes are used to get you in on the hunt, and then Nor'easter Game Calls right in on the PayPal notes Outdoor Drive giveaway. So and then last but not least, Wild Edge Inc., the leader in mobile hunting.
You see that, Ian?
Did I give you a promo code yet?
No promo code yet.
Bullshit. What do
No
you think you're
promo.
doing?
No,
What the fuck?
we don't have one of those yet.
I'll get you guys one soon. Okay.
All right. So all you listeners, you'll have a promo code here at Wild Edge sooner than later. It's typical Drew, so it's fine.
Well, you see how he functions. He goes and takes a piss just to come back and fill the bladder.
With water.
Yeah, just
I drank
a
5 cups of coffee before this podcast, so I'm a
little spun out.
A little dry. I'm
a little dry.
Well, man.
I'm gonna fill it with some nicotine too.
There you
Something
go.
wrong with
Load it
that.
up.
Guessing you're chewing.
Hey, no tobacco on this, buddy.
Yeah, he's got the
Just
Zin.
Yeah, man.
Whoa. Shout out to Zin.
Gave it up for my 30th birthday. No
Ooh,
tobacco.
good man. Good man.
Smart
I need
man.
to.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I need
Saves
to.
lips, man.
It's a tough thing, I guess. I don't know.
You used to do it.
Yeah, I used to dip, smoke, all kinds of crazy things. That was
Now you're like
nuts.
a skinny little white boy. That,
Yeah, well, not really skinny. I gained a little bit of weight back, but that's just the norm.
COVID weight.
Yeah, COVID weight. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
COVID
it's
weight?
COVID weight.
I guess so.
If I hear that fucking word one more time.
I bet you everybody's
fucking
Blame everything on COVID, right?
Yeah,
everybody's
exactly,
over it. Everybody's over it, man. They want to get out and hunt and fish. I'm over it for the fact of that everybody's out there hunting and fishing.
Well, you see that my dog just walked in and wants to destroy shit. They opened the fishing season.
Yeah, early
like,
here.
right now.
Yeah,
It's open.
it's open.
Yep.
The guys were just
because
fishing down
of
the river.
social
too.
distancing,
Right.
which is cool. But imagine being a high schooler right now. If you were in high school
Oh fuck.
and you only had to go to school like 2 days a week. Imagine
After taking a year off.
dude, we'd be in our glory.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeez.
tune into Zoom. Like my wife is a 6th grade teacher and she shows me like these videos like, look at this kid. He's sleeping. This kid's watching fucking porn. This kid's like laying down. This kid's playing video games. This kid's watching anime and all this crazy shit. I'm like, I'd be in a tree stand. I'd be in the woods.
Yeah.
I'd be working. I'd be working on the
Zoom me
farm.
from
I'd
here.
be that would be so awesome.
Yep. I agree, man. I just don't like it come turkey season because everybody's out of work and they're out turkey hunting.
But it's good for the industry.
It is. It's great for the industry, but it's not good for my personal
Everyone's in your shit.
insanity, my personal sanity, bro.
It's good for me, so fuck you.
Yeah. It's not good for me being a public land hunter. No, I'm just kidding. And everybody out hunting turkeys. I get scared because, they just, I don't want to get shot, No. No, I don't want people on my public land. Is really what it is. What's that?
Put some orange on.
I'm turkey hunter? Okay. You got
That's
it.
why I kill them, because they're so dumb, but they're so smart.
Yep.
They piss me off. So that's why I turkey hunt.
They're fun. Speaking of turkey hunting, I saw Matt Wiltz is going to come down and hang out.
Yeah. You ready?
That's cool. Yeah. He's coming down opening
he's
weekend.
Like, hey, should I get a turkey tag? I'm like, I didn't build bunk beds in the office or nothing.
That's right.
Come on down, buddy. And he's like, so we can kill hummingbirds? And then he's going through, he's like, so for $135, I can get my bow hunting license, but that's kind of expensive. I'm like, pussy, you won't.
The problem with Connecticut is now the new law that passed is you have to have a Connecticut bow hunting certificate to get a bow hunting license. You can't use the loops and anything. You have to have an actual Connecticut license.
But if you did the bow hunter safety course in another state, you can get it.
You have to have a Connecticut bow hunter safety course
today.
If he got it, that would be awesome. Maybe they go in New York, but we were having a problem with the Modern Assassin coming because he couldn't do it here.
I had that problem with my uncle and cousin in Ohio too.
That they couldn't come here because so the new law says that you have to have a Connecticut certificate.
So it can't be like a New York, Pennsylvania bow hunter safety course certificate.
No, because it has to be a Connecticut, or you have to have a valid bow hunting license in the state of Connecticut in the past 5 years.
Okay. Well, thanks to
ridiculous.
COVID, you can also take the bow hunter safety course online.
Yeah, but then
my buddy did it, but you have to show up for a field day.
You have to have a field day.
Yeah. So you can do the course online.
Fucking stupid.
It's ridiculous, man. I think that, whatever it takes to get these people out there, I think that we should have a mentor program. I think there should be a lot of things in the state that, get people back into the woods. Especially
y'all just come to Virginia. We just shoot shit.
Yeah. Whoa, where? The only rule, as you guys all know and heard, is that the only rule in Virginia is you can't shoot on a Sunday within 100 yards of a church is the only fucking rule.
Really?
And they hunt turkeys with rifles down there.
Remember
fucking bunch of nutcases.
It's the Wild West down here.
Yeah, we call them mutant mountains. Mountain
mutants.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do we live here?
I don't know.
I've been wondering that from the get-go. I know Virginia could really use a nice new shop.
Yeah. Well,
with all of that custom gear.
I already built it because I had dreams of moving to Montana, Wyoming. I fell in love with Idaho. Idaho was like my fucking paradise when I went out there.
I'm afraid to go there.
I've been there twice, but I knew my wife's family's so big here. My mother-in-law's
there's no way you're getting
from
her.
the shop. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So
we're gonna
here, and I'm just gonna suck it up. But we do have good bow fishing.
Yes.
Our duck hunting sucks. Our squirrel hunting's fucking unbelievable. Our deer hunting fucking sucks.
Yep.
Turkey hunting in my area blows cock.
Well, bow fishing sucks here too because you have to catch and release bow fish because we actually have limits on them.
Stick and release.
Yeah, stick and release.
Yeah.
It's
so
ridiculous.
You shoot them and you let them go.
Yeah, because we have limits on our carp here, on our invasive species carp, because that's how stupid the liberals are here. And
we should do that with felons, shoot and release.
Yeah. Same thing as carp. So the cool thing is
they're all bottom suckers.
I asked all my game warden buddies when that law came out, you can only possess one creel limit of a carp, 26 inches or under or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. So I asked my game warden buddies. One of my best friends is a game warden. And I know all the guys in the EPA. I used to work with them. So I'm like, okay, how the fuck can I judge a fish underwater? That's 3 feet underwater. They're like, well, so I guess you would just shoot them, bring them to the boat, measure them, and then if you don't want to keep it, release it. Okay. So we did that. And then that could be 60, 70 fish a night. And, we had a couple mornings where the next morning my buddy would take his wife out on his dinghy for a nice little cruise at the boat launch that we did circles around shooting, 50 carp in a night, and there'd be dead carp fucking floating everywhere. and years, year after year, we'll shoot a carp, pull it back in, and there will be a significant sign of an arrow going in it, like an arrow wound, a scar, or even an eye missing right through the fucking head. And we obviously shot that carp because no one bow fishes around here.
Nope. Well, it's good because it pisses off the European carp fishermen.
Oh, the carp fishermen are the worst. They'd be like, we'd launch the boat and they'd be like sitting there fishing. They're like, we just baited out here. So can you please just like not like bow fish around here? Like, no, we shoot them on the surface, buddy. We're not, they're eating corn on the bottom 10 feet down. You'll be good.
We'll be fine.
We might shoot a couple, 50 around here tonight, but don't worry about it.
You need to start carrying tags that you can date. To be like, shot, clip it, be like, oh, shot this on, May the 3rd last year.
That's a good idea.
And just see how many tags you can get on one fish before it's a keeper.
That would be cool.
It'd be like getting a banded duck.
That. Yep.
I got a tag fish.
Yes. Because I guarantee those things are they're so tough. I mean, you put an arrow through them in and out and they swim away. You're like, holy shit. And like, here's
one of the cool things about the carp, especially us, I mean, both me and Drew both have had beetles.
Here's a carp fin. That's the gill plate.
The gill plate.
It's 100% bone.
Bone.
It's not cartilage.
That's wild.
It's from a carp.
It is right behind the gill plates, and that is, that might stop an arrow. So this is I first figured that out. We would always, before the law of keeping one carp, we would load the boat and get a big pile of picture after and have 50, 60 carp and bowfin lined up on the dock or in the boat, whatever, fill barrels. And we would ditch them back in the woods. And then my dog Bullet came back one day with one of these. I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's a gill plate. So it is 100% bone. And I whitened it. So it's pretty cool how tough they are.
Hell yeah.
It's a trophy. It's a carp trophy.
That's right.
Yeah. So this year we need to figure out a way to start trophy tagging them.
Yeah.
For tracking purposes.
Yeah.
You can definitely get, I like the shark tags. We get like shark tags for them and we'll just tag them.
Fucking zip tie through their tail.
Before we get too crazy, why don't you explain this bad boy here?
How about you explain it?
You mean we've been off on a tangent?
Yeah, I just wanted to go over this before it kind of got a little bit crazy. This is a platform. If you guys haven't ever seen one, the battlement. This originated actually from the perch, which clipped onto. Oh, it's right there.
So it's like a perch on steroids without the step.
Here, I'll hold this.
Yeah, so that's what it originated from. The perch actually originally went onto the step. So then Drew had partnered with Matt from Out on the Limb. You guys all know who he is.
So Matt Out on the Limb invented the perch that attached to the step. I'd been struggling trying to figure out a way to attach a platform to a step for years. And I had ideas. I have probably over 100 prototypes down in my shop that I was working on. And guys were even using plywood and putting them around the step and, snapping it down. And then what was it? It was like a couple days before the Iowa trade show 2 years ago.
I remember that. Yeah.
Matt reached out to me through Facebook. He's like, hey, or he made a post like, hey, Wild Edge guys might be interested in this. And then he sent me a private message today. You should probably check this out. And he made, I have down in the shop, the original perch, which is basically this. And he's like, he showed it to me. I'm like, you're a fucking genius. Like, holy shit. Like, I've been working on that for years. And he said, I'll show you the Iowa show. So he came to the Iowa show, showed me, and then we worked out a deal. And so he is the inventor of the perch. And he's a freaking genius. The guy is a metal fabricating genius. And the way it works is, this is an actual steel prototype. The actual perch is made out of 6061 aluminum. And it goes in, clips around the bar, and snaps into the step. Put the step around the tree, put it in. Recam it, take all the tension out of the rope, and snap it to the tree. And it's solid as a rock. I put over 600 pounds of my Mini with a scale on it and cranked it down. It didn't move. But this is, it coincides with a step. And so this is like it's pretty much your lightest platform besides Matt's Solo Scout. And then everyone was this was a huge seller, Matt's bracket that he developed.
It's
Out
insane.
on a limb bracket. So Matt and I work close together. Our biggest goal was, why be competitors when we can work together and be a team and help each other. So that's the way Matt and I have always been. We've shared trade show booths and we work together and share ideas. I gave him the tree seed idea and he came out with the rut roost, which is very cool. Check that out on his website, the rut roost. If you're on a long day set and you want to take pressure off your legs, and if you're in a saddle, you just literally, it's this same bracket with a smaller, pretty much oval platform
That's
that
like a
you
beaver
just
tail.
put between your legs. Yeah, like a beaver tail, and you sit on, take pressure off your legs, and kind of hug the tree. You can put your head against the tree and take a fucking nap. But either way, this bracket was so invincible. I asked him, he said, hey, can I make a bigger perch with this bracket? And he said, yeah, absolutely, go for it. So Matt makes this bracket for me. He gets it machined from the shop that he uses. He gets it back to his shop. He welds the ears on. He taps the adjustable knob to adjust the platform up and down in his shop, and he welds this bracket on for the adjustable knob. And then he sends it to me. So I get this platform made by Summit Metals in Texas, and I get the bracket made by Matt in his shop. And he sends me the bracket, platform, and the platform comes from Texas. And then we assemble them here at the Wild Edge shop. So it's I was never a platform guy. I was more of like a ring a step guy or a perch in a step with a step on each side. And I was always against platforms because they were always too big and bulky, and like I felt like I was standing on tree stands. So then I started messing around with this baby, and it is super comfortable. So the ability to put your foot in the back, put your foot up here, I mean, the adjustability. And then if I have an extra step, which I normally 99% of the time, I always have an extra step, I'll put that rope around the bracket of the battlement and snap it on to usually my weak side. My weak side being the right side, so I can get around the tree. Or if I have another extra, I'll put it on my strong side as well, so I can get around the entire tree. But either way, without a step on each side, I can get around the tree. But this has been it's been an eye opener for me. I basically developed it knowing that platforms were popular, even though I wasn't big into them. But then I started using it in the development phases of it, and I fell in love with it. So it's solid. And once you came into the tree, like Trev, how heavy are you?
240.
Yeah, big boy.
Did you see?
And it does not move.
Did you see the picture of me and Tatro were on?
Yeah.
Tatro was on one side and I was on the other side.
And he's a big dude too.
He is a big dude. He actually weighs more than me. But so we were at the Connecticut Saddle Hunters meet, and he was like, how do you adjust the bridge? This, that, and the other thing. And, he's a couple feet off the ground, and I just jump up on the platform. And he's like, the fuck? I said, yeah, that thing's fine.
Yep.
Just
It'll hold you.
It didn't even rock or nothing. He's like, wow, that thing's pretty impressive. I go, yep,
Yeah,
I
so
just sold you
what?
on that one, bub.
Yeah, there's at least
500
plus pounds on there.
So, and they work, man. I like that. I like the perch a lot. I mean, the nice thing is you can come on the back, you can come off the side, and like Drew said, with the one step, it definitely on your weak side, so you can definitely
So
get the
that's
rotation
what
around.
a lot of people don't understand. With they go from tree stand hunting to saddle hunting, and they go, okay, they're in the tree stand mind. I need a big giant platform. Like they want to stand on the tree like they're standing on a tree stand, and the tree is this far from their face. They don't have the confidence and the knowledge to lean back.
Right.
So when I'm hunting, I'm this far from
Yeah,
the tree.
you create that distance so
way
you
back.
have that ability to move around the tree.
You stand
Exactly.
at like a 45 off the tree.
Yep. And if you have this tiny little square platform, how are you going to move around the tree? So with this platform, I can get around the tree, but I'm always looking for another foothold. So the beauty of the steps is, grab that step right there.
Oh, shit.
The beauty of the steps is, so if this step is against the tree, I can stick my heel right in the step, or I can stick my toe in the step. And it's like my feet are locked in. So the mobility of moving and maneuvering around the tree is your hips and your feet. So if my heel is locked in there, I can't go anywhere. If you're standing on a square little box and you lean hard to one side, you're going to slip. I don't care how much grip is on that platform, how much grip you have in your boost, you're going to slip. So that's why I love having a step on each side, because on my weak side, so as a righty shooter, my weak side is my right side. I can take this step. If it's on the trees right here, and this step's on the left side of the tree, I can stick my toe in that step and I can turn all the way around, bring my bow around my bridge, or I can turn all the way around and stick my right foot in this step and go that way without bringing my bow around the bridge. So the whole mobility of having your feet locked in solid is a big confidence booster, because you're not worried about that slipping out.
I mean, I'm totally with it. I think that's how I hunt anyways, especially with
They saved my ass in Ohio. I'll put you that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when
they did.
when my platform lost the middle two brackets.
Oh, I forgot about that, dude. That's right.
I had a cut down old aluminum tree stand that I had turned into a really lightweight platform.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, it was a DIY gig, and I'm sitting in the tree the last day we're there, and I go to take a step and shift, and one of the crossbars falls out of the center. I went shit, and I went to turn to look at what happened, and the other one fell out of the center. So now I have the main bar across the back and the main bar across the front with a foot open hole in the middle of the platform.
DIY at its finest.
So yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But I had 3 steps around the tree as well. So I just kicked my feet off and set my heels right there in them, and I set for another 8 hours.
Yep. And that's so Mike Nutto is my best example of this. He's always preaching this, and guys are like, they motherfuck him like, oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, but so you have a platform in the center of the tree. Okay. You're a guy. What's between your legs? I don't care what gender you are these days. I guess there's like 270 different ones, but if your feet are together on a tiny little platform, okay, try to adjust yourself. Try to take a piss. Yep. Yeah. Slammed. When you have a step on each side of the tree, you can put your heels in the step like a stirrup. So if this microphone is a tree and you're sitting like this, your feet are not comfortable like this.
Right.
They're comfortable at the same plane as your body. So that's where the stirrups help. And it's very easy to take a piss.
That brings a big point.
Stretch your manhood out and, scratch it and just be comfortable with your legs around the tree, and you're locked in. You cannot go anywhere instead of being like this.
And this comes up quite a bit, actually, when people are first interested in saddle hunting and putting one on and playing with it. Almost every person asks, how hard is it to take a piss in a saddle? I don't know
if you're a girl,
good luck.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a fucked up thing. It's something I learned this year, and don't judge, okay? So the thing is, I let my tether line out further, okay? So I'm over my platform, okay? So I have my platform in there, and I just fucking piss right down like that. It's
either tuck it straight down.
Yeah, just tuck it straight down and piss right there.
Or do the twist.
You just pretend something's behind you and lean out.
I'll
let
even
her rip.
I'll piss on my steps, knowing that they'll dry.
Yep. I just piss
right down.
Just tuck it right down there and fucking let her rip.
Or what the problem is when there's dry leaves, it's like you want to be quiet. So it's like you find like that rotten log or something, or like, okay, oh fuck.
Or you let it go down the tree.
I'll just go right down the tree. Yeah.
Yep. Then you don't get the splash, you don't get the sound.
Just right down the tree.
Just trickles and runs quietly.
Yeah.
So that buck that I shot in Ohio this year, I pissed down the side of the tree like fucking 4 times. And all I could think of is I'm like, this sucks, because if it's on the side of the tree and the wind is blowing, now it's going to blow it down throughout.
They don't know.
They don't care, dude.
And I'm texting with a bunch of my buddies, and they're like, bro, every big time hunter talks about pissing out of the tree stand. It's just totally
does not
normal.
matter.
Like,
think about it. How much piss does a deer smell? Coyote piss, possum piss,
everything,
coon piss, squirrel piss.
Well, and here's the thing: is
they don't smell human piss and go, "Oh, danger."
No, it turns to ammonia.
They smell your clothes scent and your body scent. They go, "Oh, fuck."
What sets them off is hormones. So if you're peeing and you got a fuck ton of hormone pills popped in you because you're changing some shit, they're gonna notice. But if you're all natural and I got a dick and that's all there is to it, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, so you chew tobacco and drink beer, you're fine.
Yeah,
If you're
exactly.
Yeah. If you're a man's man.
You sit out there high on caffeine in Copenhagen, you're good.
Yeah, if you're whatever they call them these days, half
It.
and half, or
I call them confused.
confused. If you're confused, they might smell you.
And if you're confused, you're probably not in a saddle.
Yeah, definitely not.
Skinny jeans
You're in
don't
a-
work well in the
you're-
woods.
You're in a ground blind.
Exactly.
Saying.
No, it's definitely one of those things. I just don't get it. But
You're
that
in
big
a
buck
city
came in
park.
after that. Yeah. That big buck came in right after I pissed down the side of the tree. So fuck it. So definitely
No,
not scared of it.
I've had deer lick when I chewed tobacco. Lick up, chew spit on the bottom of the tree, lick
on.
up my piss. An old timer always told me piss in a scrape.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I
piss in a
swear
lot
to
of
God,
scrapes.
I've had deer rework a scrape
Just because you
that
pissed
I
in it.
just pissed in.
I piss in every scrape I
urine
see.
is urine. They do not sniff your piss and go, "Oh, that's a human." No,
Drew's
they
here.
just smell testosterone. Yeah.
I'm like a male dog when it comes to scrapes. Every time I see one, I got to piss in it.
Yep.
I piss in every scrape I
He's
see. no
like
matter
Bullet
where.
when he's with me. Every scrape he finds.
He pisses in it.
When we're checking cameras, he pisses in it.
That's
It doesn't
awesome.
deter him. It's
No.
just
That's a well-trained dog.
piss is piss is piss.
I say you see a lot of coyotes. Like if you have cameras over scrapes, a lot of times coyotes will come in them and roll in them.
Yep.
And I never understood that. And it was because they want to cover the scent and smell like the deer so they can get closer to deer to get them. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, fucking smart bastards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking
They're the dumbest smart dogs you'll ever see.
That's right, man. Absolutely.
So what the fuck have you guys learned from saddle hunting?
It's the way to go.
It's
I mean, bar none.
it's definitely, you know, and I say this all the time, it's definitely put me in a lot of scenarios where I probably would have never put myself like, or put me on deer that I never would have been able to put myself on if I wasn't mobile hunting or saddle hunting because
of effort or
No.
mobility.
the mobility
It's
and being able
mobility.
to set up in areas that I wouldn't have set up or couldn't have set up, say with a climber or stick and stand. So like,
Ohio's the perfect example. I mean,
Oh,
literally the
definitely.
testament of why it's useful. Because we went into this place, sight unseen, knew nothing about it, got on maps, said, we think this looks good. And literally threw our shit on, went to a place where people don't go, threw our shit up, and had more activity than the people that have been hunting there for 10 years.
Yep.
Just because you have that ability to get into these places, get on that hot spot. And when you're up there, you go, oh shit, I noticed today everything's 100 yards that way. I was just off. Well, it's real easy to just pop down and get over there.
So if you had a climber on or a lock on tree stand, would you have been to the point where it's like you'd be lazy because you're like, I don't feel like taking this set down and moving?
Oh, 100%.
absolutely.
I
You would've
tried
sat
that
in that
path 3 years ago. I tried the whole mobile hang and bang thing. And that's just as much a pain in the ass as going out and hanging presets.
Right.
Yeah.
45 minutes to get the stand up and you've made so much movement and action and sound. There's no way we would have done what we did in Ohio running stands. It wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And that was definitely even my deer that I shot in Connecticut last year, or there was a year before now. That deer, I would have never hunted in that area if I had to use a stand, because it was more of a swamp area, and it had smaller trees where I probably wouldn't have been able to get up with a stick and stands or hunt out of a climber. Definitely wouldn't have been
There
able to
wasn't
hunt a
nothing
climber.
big enough to put it on.
Yeah, so being able to go down there and the thing with mobile hunting, I say it all the time, is you're able to pick your spot, not pick your tree. Because how many times have you gone in there and you find a spot and you're like, okay, this is the spot I want to be, and you look around and you're like, fuck, now where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
And with the saddle, with the steps, with the sticks, you can get up in that fucking tree and you can hunt, and it definitely puts you into those areas, and it makes you, being in a saddle, it makes you go out there and look for those areas. As far as if I was in a stand, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a great spot. There's deer here.
Or how many times have you been in a climber, climb up the tree, and you're like, fuck. You start like this, and then you get to stay like this, and you're like, oh fuck, there's a limb, or I gotta adjust it, and you're like monkey fucking hanging over trying to adjust the bottom platform, and like sweating your balls off. It's like,
I don't know
Carrying
how,
out
to me, it
3
just-
saws and
I don't know
Yeah.
how many times I've almost fallen out of trees in the not the saddle in the
In the
climbers. And the other thing too is the great thing with saddle hunting is if you go up a tree and it wise or has a branch, you just clip back in and just throw your linesman around and just keep climbing the tree. If I was in a climber, I'd have to saw the fucking branch and I'd have to, you'd have to really prep the area to do it.
Yep.
So saddle hunting definitely puts that stuff all in perspective. It really does, man. You think that it's changed your way of hunting, saddle hunting?
Me, 100%. I mean, it's like when we started, like my buddies and I got into filming each other, back before camera arms and all this shit. We couldn't afford
we're
it.
talking about deer hunting, right?
Yeah.
I had to. I'm sorry.
And anything else. But
I know you were deployed.
yeah, shit gets weird when you're with a bunch of dudes. But anyway, so we'd be like, all right, well, we can't afford fucking 20 more tree stands, even if they're $30 piece of shit Dick Sporting Goods tree stands, to have another guy above you to film. Guy standing there holding the fucking camera. So I'm like, I bought an arbor saddle, and I would go above my buddy and film him, or he'd hop in and film me. But then we got into self-filming, and then it's like, then I got into hunting the river a lot more. And it's like I said before, I got to the spot where it's like, I literally need to get like 12 feet up that fucking tree so I can shoot over and kill deer. And that's what I did. So it's like, but I also knew that there's no fucking way in hell that I could put a tree stand on my fucking kayak with my bow, with my backpack, kill a deer, and pack that deer out. So that's where I got into, I wear my saddle in. That's my climbing harness, my tree stand. It's my saddle. It's everything. My little fucking cute set of steps, my one fucking rope, 2 ropes, and my kayak. And I go in, and it just simplifies everything, even to the point where even if you have a preset, you literally leave your house, shop, whatever it is, put your saddle on, hop in your truck, and you go. Grab your bow and your backpack.
Do you find saddle hunting that you don't go as high as you would if you were hunting any other scenario?
Yeah, so presets, I'll go in. I set a lot of presets during the year, shit pile, and I'll go in, but I'll go in knowing I'm going to trim shooting lanes. I'm setting this stand up for my sister, for my dad, for my uncle, for my cousin, for Jim Step. I'm setting these stands up for different people and myself, but myself, I know that I rarely hunt those. I'm setting up for family and making it super comfortable. So I'll bring freaking 18, 20 steps in and make it super comfortable, knowing that stand is going to get hunted at least 6-8 times a year. So I'm going to make them pretty freaking high, put a safety line on it. And then I transition into, okay, I'm mobile. Even if I'm 20 yards from that stand, I'm going to go in and have a different setup. So I'll have 8 or 10 steps, but I may only climb 12, 15 feet. So when you're hunting mobile, a lot of guys think mobile. I need the lightest weight. Even if I'm walking 100 yards, I need the lightest weight. I need 3 steps, a nader swader, and I need to climb 30 feet. Well, good luck getting 30 feet and trying to get a shot.
Especially here.
You're up in the trees. I mean, if you're on the
Maybe on an oak
edge
flat.
of a cornfield, yeah,
Or a big oak
fine,
flat.
that makes sense. But here we're hunting thick woods. So the higher you get, the less shot opportunity you get, and the harder the angle is to kill a deer. So you're 30 feet, deer's at 10 yards. Good luck getting double long.
Right.
I mean, unless he's straight down, you're shooting right through his spine, but that's a pretty nasty death. But it's like I found myself over the years hunting lower and lower and lower. So I mean, 15 feet would be like
High.
sky high for me mobile.
Yeah.
Sky high. I've had deer even on the river bottom that I'm hunting. There's a video I posted on Instagram, I think, that I let out a couple grunts, and I swear to God, I was 10 feet off the ground just to get over the frag, over the nasty pucker and shit, and just so I could get a shot. And this freaking thing, this little squirt came under, and his spikes were like, a foot from the bottom of my platform. He walked right under, made a rub right under me. I mean, obviously your wind is not as good if you go higher, but I mean, you have shooting lanes.
Yeah. I mean, especially here because we have all the briars and all the other stuff. Getting the shootability is almost
especially
impossible.
early season. I mean,
Forget it.
September.
Forget it.
Yeah, try to go 30 feet without trimming shooting lanes in the middle of the woods.
You're gonna have two little
done.
tiny holes to hunt,
Yep.
and that's it. Especially mobile hunting, man. That was one of the things, and we learned that a lot in Ohio when on that Ohio hunt was because obviously you're going into areas you've never hunted in the dark. You go up, you set up, and how many deer? Obviously, I think I always reference back to Ohio because there's a lot more deer that came in that we could have shot. Connecticut or Virginia, there's not as many deer that would have came in. That
here comes in, it's dying,
right? You know what I'm saying? So, but there, like the deer would come in, and Steven clipped a twig. I clipped a twig. There was a ton of deer that I couldn't get shots on because they would turn and they would go away, or they'd be in areas that I couldn't shoot, or whatever the case may be, while mobile hunting. You know, and it's like, fuck, man, and you really need those pockets, and you have to adjust yourself to be able to get more shooting.
And that's the sweet part about using the steps and the saddle is like as you're climbing it. So back in the days of putting up a lock-on tree stand with a climbing system, you stand at the bottom of the tree and you look up. You're like, okay, I'm pretty fucking sure my platform with my stand is going to be on that side of the tree, so I can shoot that way and that way. You climb halfway up the tree, and you're like, your whole world changes.
Yep.
You're like, oh fuck. You get up there and like, well,
this isn't going to work.
Different up here than it did down there. So the beauty about the steps is uncam that step, swing it around, snap it over, get around that side of the tree. So I tell a lot of people as I'm climbing mobily, I'll keep climbing, and then I'll be like, okay, I think my platform is going to be right here. And then I'll jump up onto that step, look around, I'm like, okay, nope, either let's go higher or lower. Most of the time it's lower. So then I'll drop myself down. Okay, platform's going here. Jump up on it. Yep, this looks good. Make my platform, hang my bag, start setting everything up, and make everything kosher. And
and that's the biggest thing. And 2 or 3 times this year, I'd get up, be in there in the dark in a spot that I hadn't set before. And as the light comes up, you realize, shit, that limb's in the way, or this is covering that. But it's too easy to go, okay, and hop down a step. Hey, guess what? That lane's open now.
Yep.
So you can make those adjustments on the fly.
Right.
And I mean, it's crucial.
It simplifies everything to make, or if you're hunting there and you're like, oh, fuck, I've been seeing a lot of deer 100 yards over there. Mm-hmm. I can just undo my system, jump down, move over there, hop back up without breaking a sweat, and make shit happen.
Especially in the pre-rut.
You're not locked in.
The pre-rut and the rut, man, you definitely, if that buck or a couple bucks are running one area and you get down and you just move over there, dude. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. And if I had a preset,
or if you're a climber, like, oh, fuck. I went around that limb.
That's a lot of work.
So now I got to go back down, unhook, go around that limb again. Or it's like, fuck.
Yep.
Or I have to lower my lock-on tree stand down, grab my sticks, all this shit. It's like, it just makes shit simpler, easier, brainless. And the easier shit is, the more advantageous, the more savage you're going to be to actually, more motivated you're going to be to actually go kill shit.
That's why the military says keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a reason for it.
Yep.
I want to focus on killing, not setting up.
Survival. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Drew, man, I got one question for you, buddy. And that is, what drives you outdoors?
No, fuck.
Not your car. Not your truck. I know you're looking for it.
It's just, I don't know. It's like I don't want to call it a sickness, because in the liberal world we live in, that could be frowned upon. But it's like,
hey, I identify that way.
Yeah,
I identify.
That makes it okay. I identify makes it okay.
I identify as a
with the sickness.
Yeah,
identify with sickness.
No, it's. I don't want to be cliche or anything. It's like, it's the drive. It's like, I don't get very excited turkey hunt. I love turkey hunting. I enjoy bird hunting because my dog, that's what he wants to fucking do. And I bird hunt for him. Bow hunting is a selfish sport. You do it on your own. And it's my selfish drive that it's like a burning desire inside me. It's like, I never stop thinking about it. Like, you look around this office and it's like, I've been possessed and obsessed. I was dragging my dad out of his bed when I was 12 years old saying, Dad, we're fucking going hunting. He was never a huge hunter, but he was the guy that got me into hunting. But it's just in me. And it's a burning desire that I have to go in the woods. And when I'm in the woods, like I'm super ADHD and like all over the fucking place. I'm like a fucking, everyone says I'm like a squirrel, like, or I'm, I'll be sitting there and be like squirrel. I'm like
literal
bullet. Like, I'm fucking all over the place. I always have to be doing something, making something happen. So it's like I had a career in killing whitetails all over the country, all over the world. And that, before that I was all about, I would just kill everything. And then that turned into, once I killed, a couple thousand deer a year, that turned into focusing on bucks and mature bucks. And it's just an obsession. And it's like, it gets me going. And it's like, put it this way, during, I think it was like last week, my wife asked me, what's the weather going to be tomorrow? I don't fucking know. I don't care. It's like, well, you have a better weather app than I do. Can you look it up? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be fucking cold as shit. During the deer season, she'll ask me, what's the weather going to be? I check the weather for at least 12, 20 times a day. 20
degrees, winds out of the north.
I look at the pressure.
29.
I look at the pressure. I look at the wind. I look at the wind change. I look at the temperature. I look ahead. It's like, it's just, it's a lifestyle. It just keeps me driven. And this year was the coolest year of my hunting career because it was like 3 days before opening day of our bow season, which is September 15th. It was like a Sunday. I took my nephew LJ and my son Bryson, who's he's 3.5 now. So say he was 3 at the time. And we went in, I put a preset up knowing I was going to kill this 8-point, not knowing, but I knew it would be a perfect spot. And they came with me. We put the preset up. They helped me. We put the, checked the camera. It was like this whole family event. It was fucking great. And we took pictures, videos, everything. And then I killed the deer opening day. And then I killed him at 4:30 in the afternoon. And September 15th, it's not dark till 8 o'clock. So I was able to go pick my son up from daycare, bring him to the spot, help me drag the deer out. And he knew that he helped me set that stand up. So that was the best moment in my hunting career. He knew exactly what happened. We set that stand up so we could put that big boo-boo in that deer and eat that deer. I had to explain it to him. Daddy, why is that big boo-boo in the deer? What happened? I said, well, buddy, I killed him so we can eat him. And he's, oh, okay, cool. And he watched me gut it, watched me drag it out with my dad. And it was just the coolest moment in the world. So that it's not my biggest deer, but it's that was the coolest freaking moment in my life.
Oh yeah. I love it, dude. I
what
think
do
it's
you say
awesome.
to that?
Yeah,
honestly, what do you say?
Crickets.
Right. Yeah, no, it was cool as shit. But the coolest part was like he's to the age where he understood what was going on.
Right.
Even to the point where, in the barn we're butchering it, and he understands that we are cutting this deer up that Daddy killed so that we can eat it. And then he eats it and understands, and he knows where it comes from. So it's like my wife didn't grow up hunting or in a hunting family. So, she'd always be like, I'd be skinning something or I'd be, butchering something. She'd be like, well, don't you think he's a little young? I said, well, if he's exposed to this growing up, it'll be normal.
Yes.
You introduce this to a kid at 12, 14 years old, he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, you're sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not normal to them. So
they make movies about people like you.
Yeah, exactly.
So true.
Yeah. So it's been normal to him and he's been enjoying it. And so that's what keeps me driven, knowing that, I've been so obsessed my entire life, but knowing that, 10 years down the road, 8, 9 years down the road, my boy and my other boy, who's 1 now, he just turned 1, they're going to be hunting with me. And that'll be, whether they want to hunt or not. If they do, that'll be, the best day of my life. And they actually get into it.
Awesome, man. Well, real quick, one last time, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so we have wildedgeinc.com. All your saddle hunting needs, anything to climb a tree, saddle hunting, mobile hunting. And then you can find us on Instagram, Wild Edge Inc., Facebook, and I even started a TikTok.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
Some good videos on there too.
I'd be
man.
laying in bed and April would be like, my wife, she'd be playing like TikTok videos. Like, hey, what's that? Be like, oh, that's interesting. You know, like really cool business stuff and, you know, just life hacks and political stuff. And I'd be like, let me check. Hey, replay that. Let me check that out. She's like, just get your own fucking account. So I did. And it's,
Now you're in it.
You learn a lot. Now I'm addicted. Yeah.
It's bad.
It's better than Instagram.
It
Like
is.
Instagram, you scroll through like pictures and you know,
It's just very
there's
edited.
a video.
That's the problem with TikTok.
TikTok is like, oh, that was fucking cool. And like even like recipes for cooking and shit.
Mhm.
I'll take that and I'll send it to my own text message
Yep.
so that I can
have
remember
it.
how to make that. I've made
Yep.
the most bomb shit
From
the
TikTok.
last 2 weeks that I've had it. Yeah.
I love it.
The recipes are fucking unreal.
TikTok's the shit.
Nice.
Yep. But yeah, you can find us anywhere on social media. YouTube, obviously. YouTube is you can find the most educational videos on anything you want to learn. And then feel free to reach out to me, Trev, Steve, Outdoor Drive, Wild Edge, and
Point you in the right direction.
yeah, man.
Well, that makes it easy. Not a whole lot to wrap up here. So, man said it best himself. If you got questions, reach out and we'll get you going. In the meantime, guys, thanks for sticking around. Hope you guys enjoyed. And thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.